This is the network service of the NTA.
It's a bright day again, and we're reaching you live from the studios of the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA, and precisely Weekend Deal. My name is Elizabeth Abai. Now, every day we are encouraged to make money. Making money is one thing. Spending it or even saving it is a different thing entirely. And ask me, spending it is quite easy because the needs are always arising. But then always we are told that we should form the habit of saving. But what happens when saving goes wrong? How does that happen? It includes that little thing that comes on your phone. Ding, ding, ding. Alarm. It's alarm. When is withdrawal? It's alarm. Sometimes we have internet fraud inclusive.
Yes, and when you look at it, about 15.5 billion naira was lost to internet fraud in 2018.
Oh
And
gosh.
when you think of how the world is moving very fast into the ICT world, information technology, you now have information at the tips of your fingers, and you wonder what is really happening to our monetary system. And then one thing that will give you restless night is when your money is missing.
You know, every day we pray. I think one of the prayer points should be, please protect our monies in our different banks or wherever we save it. But then internet fraud, especially when it has to do with money, is one thing we will be, borrowing the words of the people, the expert, hack into today. We're going to hack into it, shake it up, hijack it, do all of that, just to ensure that we do not, make the same mistakes and lose our money to fraudsters. And we'll be going around the country, maybe even outside the country today, to get to find out what is happening with internet fraud in different zones of Nigeria. All right, I told you that we're coming to you, eyeball to eyeball. And we're talking money, how to protect your money. It's important because hard work. You come out, you do 8 hours. A lot of us actually do more than that. And you go there to do your banking or save it, whatever you want to save it. And suddenly, bam, the money is gone. Aisha, it's not fun.
It's not.
And it's amazing, amazingly annoying, so to speak. If at the end of the day, you find out there's really nothing much you could have done.
And sometimes it gives one, a lot of people I think have had heart attack because of that.
You're talking about heart attack, some have died though. Eh?
Exactly.
Internet fraud.
It's not easy. We see people flaunting money, especially in this ICT world where we have what we call audio money. People go about flaunting luxurious lifestyles, and you think it's easy to earn money. Mm-hmm. It's that easy. Mm-hmm. But not knowing that most of these people, they're flaunting that money because it's not hard earned. It's other people's money that they're taking.
All right, that sets tone for our discussion today. But let's do it properly. Let's join Francis and get to find out rising issues around internet banking fraud.
Due to the emergence of global economy and the adoption of information and communication technology in the banking sector, electronic banking has increasingly become an inevitable tool of banking business strategy and a strong catalyst for economic development.
Every transaction in business has its risks, and internet banking is not an exception. In the last 10 years, banking have taken a change from bricks and mortar through the use of technology And so banks have embraced technology, and internet is one of them. You can actually sit in the comfort of your home through your computers and transact worldwide, nationwide, as the case may be. Question is whether internet banking is safe or not. It's a yes and it's a no.
Electronic banking offers ease of operation for both customers and the financial institution within the banking industry. It has also become popular because of its convenience, flexibility, and transaction-related benefits like speed, efficiency, and accessibility, though not without its challenges.
The issue of hidden charges in the banking sector in Nigeria is something that it is time for us to speak about it. Some charges that should actually be an expense in the books of the bank are being turned into income for the bank. Example is what they call ATM maintenance card. ATM simply means automatic teller machine. It replaces the human being that pays you naira and kobo across the counter. You pay salary to these human beings. Now you are replacing it with machines. And you're asking your consumers to help you to maintain those machines or maintain those cards. Bear in mind that the customers have paid for those cards already. So why are you imposing charges on them on annual basis or on monthly basis as ATM maintenance card? After all, assuming they are going to the teller to withdraw cash, they don't help you pay the salaries of those tellers. And so some of these charges cannot be justified. Now, if you say hidden charges, the Central Bank of Nigeria have what we call the CBN tariff that guides the charges that banks should pass on to their customers for the various transactions. Unfortunately, most consumers are not aware of the CBN tariff.
The inherent fear associated with patronizing internet banking services in Nigeria is again reinforced by the growing evidences the world over and the dubious Nigerians who use fake bank websites to scoop funds from unsuspecting victims.
We've had cases of consumers saying, I didn't apply for ATM, yet I am being told that my card is waiting for me in the bank for collection and I'm being charged for it. We've had cases like that. Most times, if you dig into these specific cases, it could be that at the point of opening your account, they may have offered you a form to fill and you will not read those forms and you just sign off, put date, and then you go. Maybe there's a clause there that says, I am therefore applying for ATM card, and you sign off. Now, the banks have these forms, and they take the form and process ATM for you. So, usually, I would advise customers, before you sign any form in the bank, try and read the contents of those forms.
The mobile payment system, even though not so popular, has the advantage of cost reduction for the individual and customers as well as ease of accessibility. Thus, the Central Bank of Nigeria licensed multiple money operators in the last 2 years, but only about 0.5% of the Nigerian adult population currently patronize them.
Instead of the banks to open branches in multiple locations, they appoint agents. And this is what we call POS terminals, are actually agents of these banks. So they help you to withdraw money, to do basic transactions in those locations. Now, it has numerous advantages. Number one, the inconvenience of you leaving your home to go queue up either in the bank or in bank's own ATM points has a cost and so an inconvenience. So all of those ones are now have now been taken off. So you can actually go to the next agents very close to you and obtain your and have your services. Now the issue is how fair are the charges that customers are being charged at those points. It's a point that the pressure groups, consumer pressure groups, need to look into.
The key to unmasking the full potential of digital banking in Nigeria not only lies in digitalizing the front end of banking, but also back-end systems to create efficiency across the financial system as a whole.
If you are going to establish relationship with the banks, open your eyes and read the contents of all forms that are given to you so that you will be aware of what charges are hidden and what are not hidden. I don't need ATM, do not sign requesting for ATM. Because most charges or spurious charges that come into loan accounts do not happen at the time of disbursement. It's after you've collected the money, gone, running your business, and then you see that various charges are coming into your accounts, and most people don't even go into all those. So bank customers need to be informed.
Therefore, our focus on Weekend Deal today will be on the banking sector and its services.
Indeed, with the world gradually becoming a global village, the internet has virtually taken over almost all our lifestyles now. We do things, a lot of things online.
Especially with the lockdown.
And I think it's because of that. 6 years ago, the internet cashless policy was fully took speed.
But I'm still wondering if we're actually cashless, but let's not go there.
We are cashless because when you go, sometimes I go out, I don't even carry cash with me, as long as I know that I have my ATM with me or my phone with me, because when you go to the market now, you can just go and do your transaction via your phone. I think...
Have you ever gone to buy something and then the person tells you, I don't get account, I don't get ATM?
Well, I haven't encountered that yet.
It does happen.
But I think more people are embracing this, and with growing development comes crime, different crime, cybercrime, and the banking sector is kind of suffering with internet fraudsters.
I think that's why some of those people will actually tell you, give me cash, because they're scared of being duped.
Exactly. And it is in this line that Sanben Achuli looked at how the internet banking crime, cybercrime to be precise, is taking the banking sector down a little.
Dear friend, I pray to the Lord He has provided me with good contact for you, a trustful and honest person. I am writing to you from Ghana, where I am seeing to my dead father's estate and preparing for funeral. My father, a former supporter of Muammar Gaddafi, died with US $4 million in his accounts, which I am looking to entrust to you to help me get it out of the country.
This might be a reenactment, but make no mistake, an internet fraudster's email may appear like this. This email is intended to make you feel sorry for the spiritual brother or sister and make sure you are hooked with the added incentive of 20% of $4 million, which is $800,000 or 310 million naira. The fraudsters make you feel he or she is desperate and willing to part with serious money, when indeed it is actually you parting with the money. Internet fraudsters have cost the world economy close to $5 trillion since the year 2000. In Australia, $223 million was lost to internet fraud between January 2017 and June 2020. In 2017, an internet fraud cartel worth $52 million was formed in Nigeria. It has also been reported that internet fraudsters have brought in over $2 billion since inception of the Yahoo Boy in Nigeria. If we look at the loss of data for banks, thefts victimizing customers, we discover an unimaginable figure when this is translated into economic costs. The NDIC reports that 38 billion naira was lost in 2018 and 12 billion in 2017 to cybercrime or internet fraud. So, how do these fraudsters get your money? They do this either through phishing, spoofing, or pop-up fraud. These are used to obtain one's personal information. Another way is by using a Trojan horse. A virus can record one's keystrokes and is delivered through an attachment, website, or pop-up windows. Another way is counterfeit websites or clone websites. So, how is it possible to spot a fraudulent mail or transaction?
First, if you're on the cyberspace, you watch out. When you are not supposed to put on your webcam, don't put on your webcam. Secondly, if you got a mail from an unknown source, don't open any link to it, because that's spoofing and phishing. As you open, everything from your password and PIN will be stolen. 3, watch out for the secure, for you to make any online payment, watch out for the secure HTTPS. Once the S is not there, before the slash, don't venture.
Internet fraud has caused a lot of problems for so many victims, and people have been arrested for crimes they know nothing about, or may have invested huge sums of money in a company that does not exist. What damage does it do to our reputation?
Very common one is the advanced fee fraud thing that damages our reputation. So we have a reputational risk. I travel often, and most times at the airport, you are stopped, scrutinized, even when they had issued you visa before, even when they are seeing your travel history. And that can be very irritating. Sometimes people are overseas, they don't want to wire money to you because they believe that every Nigeria is a potential fraud.
For the victims, what options do they have after being defrauded?
What you could do if you're running a business, really, or individually, is to take cybercrime insurance, which is available. Because insurance comes when all your preventative measures are failed, the unexpected has happened, then they will now compensate you, because there's always a financial loss, really.
Internet fraudsters have been known to have inferiority complex, given easily to peer pressure, or have been brought up in morally deficient homes. Many of them are graduates who continue running scams such as the African Prince and Romance Cons, just to mention a few. They seem to be living the good life, but make no mistake, no wrong deed goes unpunished.
It is always heartbreaking seeing the numbers rising. How do these people trick you into releasing your money? Well, there is a good news a little bit here in the studios of Weekend Deal on cybercrime, as we have a cybercrime expert in person of Murtala Abdullahi. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Okay, I've always wondered, this thing called cybercrime, there is this thing called ethical hackers. How does it work? How can somebody be an ethical hacker? You are a hacker. A hacker is a hacker. And I remember earlier in the beginning of this program, you said we're going to hack into systems of knowledge, actually. So
yes.
How can someone be called ethical hacker? And who are these unethical hackers?
Okay. Thank you very much. That's a very, very important question. You see, when you say someone is a hacker, we have two categories of hackers, or even three. An ethical hacker is someone who does the bad thing in a good way.
In a good way.
The bad thing in a good way. Not that he's a bad guy, but his role is to test organizational security, to find out loopholes, and then inform the organizations of their weakness so that they can block their loopholes. You understand? But we also have the actual hackers who are their goal is to cause damage. You understand? To organize financial institutions, individuals. You understand? And yes, so an ethical hacker is someone whose aim is to find out the weakness of organization and try to find a way to help the organization block those loopholes. Yes.
You know, now you're talking about ethical hackers,
Yes.
and the criminal ones. If I own an organization and an ethical hacker, gets to my organizations, finds out my loopholes, what would be the next step to take? Probably to alert me with a call or something. How do I know that you're not a fraudster trying to rip me off? Because I'm actually not knowledgeable enough. How do I differentiate between the ethical one and the criminal one when the ethical one reaches out to me to make corrections?
Good. That's another very important question. You see, it's what we call penetration testing. Penetration testing is a profession in information security. We try to penetrate. So we approach you in the form of as penetration testers to help you to test your network. So when I come as I apply for a penetration testing job, you understand, to probe your network. So I'm supposed to have a company. I'm supposed to be a licensed, a certified ethical hacker for me to become a penetration tester, and I must not have any form of criminal records. Else, there's no way I'll be considered as an ethical hacker.
All right,
Well,
that's good to know.
exactly. There's no IT person without a system laptop, and I'm sure our audience are wondering what is this system doing here. So, are you going to demonstrate for us how or what these fraudsters do and what they are?
Or even starting from who they are.
Yeah. Okay. Cyber criminals are actually sometimes individuals or group of people who come together to commit crimes. These people get to the point where they create their own community. They create their own marketplace. They get to the point where they share resources and strategies. And eventually, with that kind of alliance, when they attack your network, they cause a devastating attack. Yes. Now, these guys get to the point where they have their own marketplace. We call it, yes, marketplace. We call it underground marketplace. So when they steal your information or credit cards, they take it to that marketplace, underground marketplace. Unlike the conventional marketplace where you buy genuine things, it is an underground marketplace because only if you are into such kind of business before you will be able to know that where this market is and who operate in this market.
Talking about cybercrime, I've always heard about social engineering. What does that mean?
That's another very, very important question, because social engineering is a very it's one of the major form of attacks, and social engineering comprises of a lot of other forms of attack. So it's like a parent. Social engineering, actually, what the social engineers do is that they try to work on your
psyche.
Yes, on your psyche. You understand? They try to work on your on your psyche, and these people are very proficient in psychological warfare. You understand?
Can you imagine?
Yes.
So they get information out of you without you knowing it.
Yes, but they do this in various steps. For example, we have what we call phishing attack.
Okay, fishing.
Yes.
Fishing. Like fisherman.
It's like you're a fisherman, you have your hook and you put a bait on it, right? And this bait, you throw it in the water, with the bait now attracts the fish, the one that is desperate to eat. Wow. Yes. So these phishing attacks come in different forms, right? Sometimes it's good. Sometimes the goal of this phishing attack is to manipulate you into divulging sensitive informations, like your credit card details. You understand?
Is that how we get all those messages of some people will tell us one message, send a code or something.
Yes, to verify
something. Is that part of phishing?
Yes, that's phishing.
Okay.
That's phishing.
But what's the difference when you look at identity theft? People trying to get information of someone, maybe your own personal person, in order to lure you to release your funds or money to them.
Well, identity theft, okay, you see, identity theft has to do with me trying to use your identity, you understand, to benefit from something that you should have benefited from. You know, I could, maybe let's say I use your identity card or your social, your personal identification number to have access to some funds. You understand? Or go to your Facebook account, hijack it, try to use it to communicate with people, with your friends, so that pretending to be you, in order to deceive them into sending money to an account which, in the end, you will not benefit from it. I will be the person to benefit from it.
Okay, I think
Yes.
I had one experience where somebody wrote to us and was telling us that the mom was sick and needed assistance, and he wasn't in the country, if we can send money to the family and all that. But I knew this guy very well, and I told myself, this may not be real. If he needs money, even when he's outside the country, he's always called. So he would have called this time around. We tried to call his Nigerian number. He picked. I said, I thought you were outside the country. He said, who told you that? I forwarded the email to him. He said, please, I hope you didn't give the money. I said, I don't even have the money. So how would I give?
Yes, and this is another very important point that you raised, because you see, people tend to make this mistake. You see, when you create an email, you're not supposed to use commonly things that can password that can be easily used. Maybe let's say there are people that use their mother's name, their phone numbers. Most people use their phone numbers. So these hackers try their luck to see how they can access this email, and they study you very well. You understand? They study you, and they observe your social media posting, and they sometimes try to dial your number to see that you're not around. So with that, they use that to contact. They try to attack your email, hijack your email. After they hijack your email, then quickly send these messages. You understand? Because they know. But by the time they say this message, at that point you may not be. Maybe you're not in contact with this your friends or family. You understand? So they now hijack these emails and use it to dupe your family and friends financially.
Right.
So I recommend that when you have an email, if you're creating an email account, try to activate your multi-factor authentication, and as well as avoid using your phone number, your anything that your plate number, your house address, all these things you don't need to do. And avoid, when you travel, or try not to post your information, maybe your pictures of what you're doing, where you went to, until you're back home. Because these criminals are very intelligent. They observe you, they take their time to study you, and they only wait for a slight opportunity to hit you.
I think the only thing to do is to continue to upgrade yourself, like the system will always upgrade. Now, I'd like to know specifically, how does the bank customers really get defrauded at the ATM? You were telling me something behind camera about deep and all that. I don't know it. Tell me.
Okay, you see, there are three major ways where customers get defrauded. One of them is stolen credit card. Now, stolen credit card fraud is carried out when someone steals your credit card plus your password plus your PIN. You get it? So when they steal this card and immediately begin to use it for transaction until you're able to block the card.
So the first thing we must do is to report.
Report as soon as you misplace your card.
Okay.
Don't wait for don't take chances. Immediately call your bank and inform them that I've misplaced my card and I need it to be blocked. Okay. Yes. Then there's also the issue of counterfeit ATM card. Now, this is the most uh, important one here because you see, as we embrace POS or POS POS machine, there's also need for us to be very careful because of in some cases some of these POS machines have what we call a skimming device. This skimming device is designed in a way that as soon as you slot your card into the POS machine, it automatically copies the details of that card. And this and the criminal now will use the same details to duplicate your ATM card. Yes. So it is recommended that when you go for for ATM for POS when you want to use your card on a POS machine, that you observe carefully that if your card goes in
Full time,
or let's say 80%,
okay,
there's a problem.
Like the one I'm seeing on TV,
Yes.
the red
You see,
is danger.
Yes,
Is all the card is all in.
all in, almost
Okay.
in. Let's say almost in,
Okay.
and that's really dangerous.
They're trying to duplicate
Because
my card.
now the reason why this card is inside is because it's to enable the card make contact with the card with the skimming device.
Machine, okay.
Yes. So, but if there's no skimming device inside in the POS machine, you see that the card will just go halfway. Halfway is the ideal let's say as in level that the card should go. It shouldn't be beyond half. You see that? Yes. Well, apart from this, there's another one. You see, when you there's ATM, or there's also ATM skimming device.
Okay.
Yes, and there's also ATM pin collecting device. You know, so
Those
let me
ones
tell you,
happen at the machine point.
at the machine. So this one is for the POS, and there's one for the machine. So when you go to the machine, make sure that the machine, there's a particular slot where you insert your card. That place should be blinking. In most machines, that place blinks. You know. So if it's not blinking, there's a tendency that an additional device has been placed on that. Yes, on that slot. And this, as soon as you slot your card, you understand? Yes, it reads the card, and you may not be. You may just do your transaction and go and leave there without. And in addition to that, apart from the skimming device that steals the card credentials, on the pad itself, they also have a device that actually collects the pin
as you type it in.
As you type it in.
Wow.
You get it? So you need to be very careful when you use these machines.
Is it the same as when you see the message card not present? Is it the same thing? Is it fraud? Is there any suspicious
Card not
movement?
present. That's another very interesting question. In short, very important question, because you see, this card not present issue has cost people a lot of their hard-earned money. Card not present is simply when I perform a transaction with your card without physically having the card.
How?
The card is still with you, but I have all the details. And how does this happen? A lot of people make the mistake of taking a picture of their ATM cards, front and back.
In their phone.
Yes. And a lot of times, some people are very careless. They allow people, someone else to be in possession of their card for a long period of time. Some people are very talented that they can cram the entire code, 14-digit code, 12-digit code, including the expiry date, plus the security number at the back. So now, as soon as they take that, they go to a website. You understand? Mostly it's on most of this no card issue present has to do with online transaction. So you have to be very careful. They now go online, go to the website and use your card. While you're having the card, they don't have the card. And that's why there are sites that when you perform a transaction, they'll tell you, take the picture of the card and send it to us to prove that you are in possession of this card. So someone can just spy on you and let's say take your cram your credit card details and use them to perform a transaction without being in possession of the card.
You know, all
That's
these
why it
things
is
you've
no
been
card
saying,
present.
Yes.
it tells me something.
Exactly.
These things cannot happen without an insider. You know,
Sometimes.
what they say, now the rats with the inside house, where they go call rats with the bush,
Exactly.
say fish day for house. So, what is this insider story?
Let me give you a very an example of a particular kind of crime where someone will come and snatch your bag. You might think the person is after snatching your bag or your phone. What the person wants is your SIM card. Yes. Now, when this criminal gets your SIM card, they remove it from your phone. Take it to a specialist who is proficient in extracting credit card SIM card details. You understand? Now, with that SIM card, they will find out all the account numbers you've linked to that SIM card. You understand? And now move to the next guy who works with a telecommunication company. You understand? Then from there they now move to the other guy who works with the bank. So they now work in collaboration with the guys in the bank and the guys at the telecommunication company to now do what we call a welcome back on your SIM card. Then before you know, they try to perform a password reset on your account. Now, why are they performing this password reset and why do they need your number? Because when you perform a password reset, the code or the OTP will be sent to your SIM card. Your OTP is the final step when you're being validated,
Exactly.
especially when you're performing an online transaction. So and if things get worse, the insider in the bank now, who is an accomplice of these guys, will collaborate with them and help them approve this transaction.
Wow, this is scary.
So 60% of financial crimes related to banks are actually as a result of insider threat.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
It's scary, but then we will continue to believe that one day everybody will get to comply. I don't know how that works, but the basic thing is let's continue to upgrade ourselves.
Yes.
In
In addition to that, there's something very important that I really want to advise people. It is very important that when you if you know that the SIM card you're using is linked to a particular bank account, make sure that you enable pin this SIM lock.
Okay.
Is a kind of 4-digit code. You go to when you go to your phone settings. You scroll down, you find a place where you see a SIM lock. Implement this SIM lock on this SIM card. That's the only way you can escape this.
All right.
Else,
Wow, that's so helpful.
Thank you so much.
You'll be at the mercy
Abdullahi.
of insiders in the bank and in the telecommunication companies, because they work as insiders to cause damages to both the institutions and the customers of the institution.
Thank you so much, Abdullahi. Thank you. We've been speaking with Abdullahi Murtala, who is a cybercrime expert. We thank you so much for coming. It's been quite enlightening. For now, let's take a break. When we come back, the show continues. All right, it is Weekend Deal, reaching you from the Nigerian Television Authority. And, well, we're still talking cybercrime, we're still talking fraud, and we're still talking everything computer. And we have a gentleman joining us, a man who represents, who is at the helm of affair for a very particular agency that is important to this topic. It is the National Information Technology Development Agency, full name, but then abbreviation is NITDA. Join me as I say welcome to Kashifu Inua Abdullahi, the Director General of NIGDA. And I know you like to be called Kashif, right?
Yeah, thank you, Elizabeth. It's my pleasure to be with you.
All right, it's our pleasure to have you. Now, before you came in, we had lots of questions coming in. And I know that at the moment you're not in the banking sector, but I also know that you played a key role at the IT unit of the CBN at the point. You are also a technology architect. So I would like you to take question directly from James in Benue State. He says, please, may we know if the bank can secure the customer's account and how?
Yes, the bank can do it, but as individual also we need more to do than the bank, because the way it is, technology cannot keep us secure 100%, because 90 or over 90% of cybercrime was as a result of human errors. That means the person need to get some information from the victim before they can perform the crimes. So the most important, the bank, what they can do, they need to comply with the Nigerian Data Protection Regulation, which is a regulation that guides us on how to secure privacy, personal information of customers. That regulation will help the banks keep the information safely, and also they can have some technology that can help them, like the two-factor authentication, which most of the bank uses that technology. In addition to your password, you need to use your tokens, and even your card has the expiry date and it has a security code behind.
The CVS or something.
Yes. Okay. So you need to keep them secure, and you need to be sure of who you share your information with. Or the best way is not even share your personal information with anybody. Because if you look at what is happening today, because of the pandemic has created a situation or like a perfect storm of fear, uncertainty, doubt, and chaos. So these bad guys are exploiting this situation to defraud people. They will send you a link saying click this, or government is providing a lockdown fund, or you can benefit by staying at home. So
work
those
from
information,
house.
Yes, work from home. Those information, they will start asking you about your bank details, your BVN, your date of birth, and so on and so forth. They will gather that information and use it to hurt the victim. That's what is called social engineering. So the bank, they have a role to play, but as an individual, you have more role to play to keep your data safe.
I understand that NIGDA has one of its mandate is regulating the information technology practices in Nigeria. And we see during this lockdown, you talked about it, even during this lockdown, we see hide in cybercrime. And what is NIGDA doing in order to see that we bank safely in Nigeria?
So we do more of awareness, because like I said, over 90% of cybercrime is as a result of human error, someone getting your information. So as an agency responsible for regulating the use of IT in Nigeria, we do a lot of awareness, we do workshops, we issue a guideline, advisory notes to both governments and individual. Like now we are currently working on teleworking guideline for MDAs, and we are also working on information security framework for MDAs, because our major responsibility is to keep the cyberspace safe. So the pandemic also has made it more profound how convincing it is to use these digital technologies for our work and even our social engagement. Therefore, we need to do more on how to keep that cyberspace safer. So we do a lot of guideline, and even next week we are going to have a cyber hygiene webinar where we are going to enlighten citizens on what they do and they don't on cyberspace.
Farmers oftentimes do not have time for a lot of things we do on the electronic media, including the computer system or device, but then they make money. Then they also use a bit of that to do their business. Do you as well, inculcate the practice of getting them equipped with information and knowledge on what to do on the computer to make sure that they don't get duped?
If you remember in 2015, when President Muhammadu Buhari GCFR came on board, the country economic plunged into recession as a result of oil price crash. So they came up with economic recovery and growth plan, which has three broad objectives. Firstly, to restore growth. Secondly, build globally competitive economy. And thirdly, to accelerate inclusive growth by investing in our own people with ICT as a key enabler. So this year also they came up with economic sustainability plan, which also built on the success of the economic recovery and growth plan. So the idea is, if you look at today, this pandemic also has shown to us how vulnerable or how volatile the oil is, and the need for food security. If we are not food secured today, with the lockdown of borders, we would have been in food crisis. So we look at it, what other countries are doing in agriculture. We did a case study, we did a research looking at Netherlands as a case study, how they used agriculture or smart agriculture to boost their economy. Like last year, Netherlands made over 106 billion US dollars from agri exports, while Nigeria, we made less than 6 billion US dollars from oil and gas. So looking at that and our competitive edge in that sector, that's why we call it National Adopted Village for Smart Agriculture. We are adopting these farmers, training them, giving them all the necessary tools they need to perform that smart farming. Like we were in Jigar for 2 weeks, we trained them, we went to their farms, we checked the geomapping of the farm, all the information of the farm, then we provided a digital tools for them. Like we gave them a customized iPad with the digital agri platform that they can use to exchange information. Because the idea is we need to create a digital ecosystem for the farmers, whereby you can sell, you can manage your, you can navigate your journey from the farm to the market easier using the digital technology.
Okay, thank you very much, and I wish we all get to adopt that. I mean, all of us who are whether small or big time farmers, but I also know that Nigerian digital data protection regulation is also under your purview. I'd like to know what is implementation levels at the moment.
The Nigerian data protection regulation was issued last year, January on 2019. With the objectives of keeping our privacy or personal data secure and creating a globally competitive economy, because when you talk about digital economy, it's about data. People can only invest or can embrace it when they trust the system. So to trust it, you need to have a mechanism in place that will give that trust to people. So the idea is, how can we get all organizations and individuals comply to that regulation of keeping their privacy safe? So we issued the regulation last year in January 2019, and so far we've created a new industry because we licensed about 27 companies now to be helping organization comply with it. They have come up with different roles like data architect, the data analyst, and so on and so forth. And also the industry, as of January this year, was worth more than 2 billion naira. And we have created more than 2,000 jobs from it. We have a lot of requests now we are processing, because people have seen the potentials of the industry, because data is the fuel of digital economy.
Definitely.
Mine it's more of a follow-up question. With all this data information that you have of people, can it help in curbing internet fraud, especially through banks?
Sure. It can, absolutely, because the idea is we are not keeping the data, but we are enlightening people collecting the data to know how to keep it secure. Because they need to understand what they're supposed to collect, why are they collecting it, and what they're supposed to share with others. And also there is, if you breach the regulation, there is a fine. Like just recently, the Lagos Inland Revenue breached some of the data protection regulation, and we fined them.
Okay. Aside from the agri sector, I understand you have, what other sectors are you looking at in order to synergize? NIDA is looking at in order to see that it synergize with other sectors.
If you're working with other sectors to ensure that we have a unity, because that question for me is very pertinent, because a lot of times you go to do something, they tell you bring your biodata. So I have given my biodata in like almost every establishment I went to do something. I'm expecting that with the BVM and all the biodata we did, it should be able to go round. So if I'm going to do my driver's license, you don't need to ask me another one. And if anything happens to me, you should be able to trace it back to me. Are you synergizing with other sectors?
Okay, let me start with questions on other sectors, because we focus on the technology innovation ecosystem. If you look at today, technology powers almost everything we do. Health, education, agriculture, banking, almost everything. So we look at how to strengthen the innovation ecosystem so that they can come up with innovative ideas on how to enhance different sectors and come up with different technology that can make our business more effective and more efficient. Then on the other hand, on about different silos, database silos, I think the government has set up a committee recently, a presidential committee with some ministers and head of agencies collecting data in the country. And my minister, the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, is chairing the subcommittee on data harmonization. So the committee have done their own work. They have submitted recommendation for implementation, because that's the only way we can succeed in digital economy. We need to have our digital identity. But at NIDA, what we are doing, we are implementing a project on public key infrastructure, which will help you for digital signature. After you have an identity, a digital identity, you need to be able to digitally sign documents or other things to make sure you are the one verifying that document.
All right. Well, a lot of times you talk digital. I am not IT based, but then when I hear people like you speak, my horizon gets broadened. But I'd like to know what's the best way of protecting myself, digitally speaking?
The best way of protecting yourself is to know what you need to share and what not to know the do and the don't on the digital space. For example, you need to keep your devices always updated in terms of new version, the patching, like your mobile device, like your computer desktop and laptops.
No, I never
put
really knew that.
antivirus. You never use it, but you are using.
No. What I mean, I never knew that not updating will actually affect
Okay.
me. You know, in terms of somebody hacking into my account and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now we learn everything.
You know, hackers mostly exploit gas patches, lack of update, and so on, the vulnerability on systems to hack systems. So make sure you always keep it updated, and also make sure you use antivirus. Avoid clicking or opening a mail you don't know, because if you look at it, there is a lot of spamming going around. People will send you emails from your maybe bank or from NCDC or from WHO talking about coronavirus and so on. You see a link, and that link sometimes is weaponized with some codes. If you click on it, they will install that code on your system and steal information about username, password, and so on and so forth. And also avoid responding to messages, sending your private information, personal information via email or messages. Always confirm, because there is also this email business compromise, whereby someone will send you an email looking like it is from your colleague, asking you something to send bank detail or something. Always confirm before you do
send.
so.
Okay.
But then, how about in the events that you don't really know? How can you know that how can you identify that this is a fake website or a fake email, especially through the bank?
The bank always says they don't request for information via email or SMS. So any email requesting for you to fill a form you don't know, just avoid that. Go to the bank and confirm before you do that. And always try and avoid clicking on images you don't know online. And also don't share with others, because we also need to take responsibility of keeping our family and friends secure. So you shouldn't share what you are not sure of.
All right, some people are writing questions. Let's play with our viewers a little bit. Your sensitization at the state level needs to go up. Does NICTA have programs in the states? That's Ibrahim Tudu writing from Gusau.
Yes, we do zonal awareness campaign, but now we focus more on online. Like during this pandemic, we conceptualized and executed a virtual training academy where we have over 23,000 Nigerians learning about all the cybersecurity and other emerging technologies. And also we share a lot of information on our social media handles, where we give advisory notes on all these fake websites and email and how people can protect themselves from the cyber crime.
All right, please, can the DG tell us if fraudsters can use someone's BVN alone to fraudulently debit his account details or money?
Well, I'm not sure of that. From what I know, before someone can debit your account, needs to have maybe either your mobile banking details or your internet banking. So with BVN alone, I'm not sure.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the program today. And if you are with us, we have been chatting with the DG, Director General of the National Information Technology Development Agency, in person of Kashifu Inua Abdullahi. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
All right, it's been it for us here. And Aisha?
It has been a fantastic weekend. Make sure that you stay safe, practice all the social distancing, and of course, washing of hands. We are still fighting this pandemic.
Every day something is happening. They say it is now airborne. Please, when you're in enclosure with more than people you don't know, strangers, please cover your face. It's important. And whatever you do, keep yourself updated as much as you keep your devices updated. We just learned that today.
Yes, exactly.
We'll see you again next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.